everybody. My name is Jeff Newcomer. I am the Activities Director here at Monroe High School, and I want to welcome you to the 2019-2020 Fall Sports Meeting and Activities Meeting. Thank you. I know it's hard to believe that we're already talking about the school year, but it is right around the corner with some of our sport programs starting practice here in a week or two. So that's why I wanted to meet, so we can all get on the same page and get all requirements taken care of before we can practice. So every year I leave this meeting thinking, wow, I just put all those people through that presentation. And I feel bad because it's not me, it's the information. I want to spice it up and I want to make it entertaining, make it better for you guys, but I decided to just go as fast as possible. So I'm going to try to make this 20 minutes. 20 minutes on my part, and then I will turn it over to the coaches. Now, I can't speak for the coaches. They might keep me here all night, but my part will be as fast as possible, all right? So the purpose of this meeting is to go over expectations. That's right. There will be expectations. Complete the requirements. So some of you are standing in line out there with the paperwork and turning in fees. You can take care of that tonight, but you don't have to. All that stuff can be done online, or you can turn it into the office just as long as it's done prior to the first practice or your first meeting. And then at the very end, we will meet with fall sport coaches. They'll go over your sport-specific information and go over the requirements there. So throughout the school year, there'll be changes, there'll be information that gets released. Several different ways you can find this information. Always a district webpage. I know it's not always the easiest to navigate, but usually the information is there somewhere. And you can always call me, send me an email as well if you have a question. Then for athletics, we do have the Badger Conference webpage. That's where you can find your sports schedules. Whenever something gets postponed or canceled or time change, location change, that is the best place to find information that's most up to date and current. And you can also set that up to link to your phone as well and auto update on your phone calendar as well. There is an Our School phone app. Our School is the company that we use to schedule all our games and officials and things like that. So that is a pretty nice app because you can sort it by sport and level and all that stuff. So please take advantage of that stuff as well. And then you can always follow us on Facebook and Twitter. So some of the activities that we have here at MHS, and we've kind of broken them down to 3 different categories, and you'll see the difference of the categories as you finger through the handbook and see the differences in how we, treat those different categories. So obviously category A, we have our WIA athletics, our bowling, our cheerleading, our dance, and then we have category B, which are the groups that perform, and then C, our service organizations. So you're here tonight because you want to get involved. So you're getting involved in something that's outside of the normal classroom, and that's awesome because there's so many benefits of getting involved. And just to go over a few of them here, so better time management skills. The student has to learn how to balance their academic life as well as their other lives, their other hobbies. Incorporate their practice schedules, their schoolwork, and find time to be able to do everything. And this just helps you later on in life. Learn new and useful skills. So your child will learn these new skills through their school life and activities, such as teamwork, new social skills, and critical thinking. All very important. Sense of commitment. Obviously your son or daughter is joining a group or a team. A sense of commitment, a sense of pride, being part of something, committing to something and giving it their all. Sense of responsibility. Obviously, a student's given a task to lead a group or a team. Over time, they'll be more efficient with this. Obviously, this will pay dividends after high school and foster a sense of accountability and responsibility. New friends. I'm sure everyone has their group of friends, but join something that you don't normally are interested in, see who else has that same interest, meet new people, see new ways of thinking. A lot of different options out there. I just saw from the previous slide and all the list of things that we offer. Just don't sit back and 5 years from now wish that you would have done this or done that. You know, take advantage of all the stuff that we offer here at MHS. And then improve academic performance. Obviously, there's been a lot of studies out there that show that just participating in co-curricular activities will improve your grades. And, you know, I don't know about you, but when I first saw these statements like this, I'm like, yeah, but is that really happening here at Monroe? You know, so the past 2 years, we've been tracking all that. GPAs between students who don't do anything, between students who do activities, between students who do 1 sport, 2 sport, and 3 sports. And of course, it holds true. So like I said, the past 2 years we've been recording the data, and this is last year's data, and as you can see, about 33% of the student body has decided to participate in nothing. I guess we don't have anything that, you know, we don't offer something that they like, but you know, their grade point average comes out to about 2.625, whereas 67% of you decided to take advantage of what we offer after school and get involved. And your GPAs are 3.232. Okay, and then I have it broken down by sport, but that right there, to me, is you're getting involved, right? If you're my son or daughter, I'm making you do something, right? And it goes back to those skills that I talked about in the previous slide as well. It all adds up, and the end result is it affects your grades. So some of you may be thinking, what is a code of conduct? What does that mean? Well, code of conduct are the expectations that we have of you. And not just students, there are some expectations of you as parents as well. The conduct rules are in effect all year round, so it affects weekends, affects your breaks, affects your summer. Okay, we expect you to be conscious of what you're doing outside of school as well. So your grades, your personal conduct, and your attendance. So parents, we just ask you, be positive, encouraging of your son or daughter. Okay, high school can be a very challenging time, and they'll be faced with a lot of different choices, and we just ask you to be there and be positive and help them along. But don't offer excuses. Okay, high school is a time where they can learn and grow from their mistakes and grow from their experiences, and just be there to help us, encourage them to work hard and do their best, and cheer for the team. I know it's easy to have the blinders on and see your son or daughter out there, but really what we're here is, we're all a team, okay? Sportsmanship. I know you've probably heard this preached left and right. You've probably seen on the news how youth sports and the parents in youth sports is getting out of control. Is it bad at Monroe? I wouldn't say it's bad at Monroe. There might be cases here and there where I'm just like, I hope they're not from Monroe when we're at a Disney game. But so it's real, and I get it. You know, my kids are getting to the age where they're starting to play sports, and it's youth sports. It's high school. Okay, this is not the pros. Take a step back. Let's work on our sportsmanship, because the referee and the official shortage, that is real. Okay, that makes my job extremely hard. And the number one excuse that officials are dropping out is parents. Okay? It's not the kids. They love doing it for the kids. That's why they're in it for the first place. But it's the parents that are in their ear, left and right. You know, this call, that call. No, they're out there for our kids. Okay? Are they going to be perfect? No. You know, we're not perfect in our jobs. And we can't expect them to be perfect all the time either. Okay? And then communication. Things happen, things come up. You may have a doctor's appointment or a vacation or whatever. Just be open, communicate with your coaches, communicate with me. The sooner the better, so people can be on the same page. So going on with communication, so it's important to understand that throughout the school year, or the next 4 years, there might be an opportunity or an instance where something might not go as expected, okay? We encourage you to have your student approach their advisor or their coach to handle those situations, rather than for the parent to come in and talk to the advisor or the coach, okay? And address concerns immediately. Okay, letting it stew for a long time, that just makes things worse, okay? If the concern can't be addressed by your student or your son or daughter, you can come to me, we can schedule an appointment, we can schedule a meeting with the coach and the advisor, the parent and the student, so we can all work on it together, okay? So then academic performance and standards for eligibility. So obviously, academics are a big part of high school, right? And I care about your son or daughter's academics. That's why we have grade checks. So starting the third week of every trimester, I'll pull a report. The report will show me any student who's doing any activity, any sport. I'll look for any F's, any E's, or I's. So NEs are no evidence and I's are incompletes, just so you know. So if your son or daughter comes up on this list, you don't need to be alarmed. I'll simply send you an email just saying, hey, I noticed that your son or daughter, it came up on this report. You may want to have a discussion with them, see what's going on. More times than not, it's no big deal, and they've already turned in the assignment, and it hasn't been updated yet in the grade book, okay? But there could be a situation where they're falling behind, and they really need your help, or they need somebody else's help, and you didn't know it. So take that opportunity to see what's going on in their grades, because after 2 weeks, I'll send you another email if they're still on that list, and let you know, well, it's kind of, they've been on this for a while, it's time to sit them down and they can focus on their academics, okay? At that time, they won't be allowed to participate in any of the organizations or sports until they get their classes up in better standing. So on this slide, we're talking about trimester grades, which is the end of the trimester grades, okay? So if you have one failing grade at the end of the trimester, there is a suspension going on and starting the next trimester. So this will be for your sports. So like basketball, for instance, is kind of in between trimesters. So that could affect your eligibility for there. And then also 2 failing grades. If you're failing 2 classes at the end of a trimester, it's time to take a trimester off and focus on your grades, get better standing academically. So the third trimester provision, though, this is talking about, obviously, the third trimester. So any student here who had a failing grade third trimester last school year, that does follow you into this school year. Okay, so incoming freshmen, you don't have to worry about this. So if you're a sophomore, junior, or senior, if you had a failing grade last year, you could have your eligibility affected, and you should probably come find me as soon as possible to see what is going on with that, okay? Academic performance standards with weighted courses. So we do have a weighted course waiver. Obviously we have some classes that are more advanced and are more rigorous for our students. And in those situations, we don't want students to shy away from taking them because of the standards that we have for eligibility. We still want you to challenge yourself and take these classes. In these situations, if you do find yourself struggling in one of these classes, we will work with you and we will go through this waiver process, and that will extend your probation period 2 weeks to get the class under control. So moving into some of the policies and some of the key points. So students, you just need to be aware that if you're part of a group that is engaged in any activity that you think is against school rules, you could be considered in violation of the handbook, okay? So just make sure that you read the student handbook, the high school student handbook, as well as the activities code handbook, just so you know what kind of things that we're looking at, okay? So a student with suspension penalties must begin and end the season that they're in. Same with like a club or organization. You can't pick and choose, quit and start, all that stuff to kind of avoid a suspension. It will follow you from season to season and even school year to school year. So like I said, penalties will carry over to the second sport or the next season or the next organization that you're part of, and they will accumulate over the school years as well. If you have two school years in a row where you're violation free, then you will reset. You'll see in the handbook what I'm talking about is, you know, your first violations, the consequences escalate a little bit. So policy 1, obviously Monroe is a drug-free school. Purchasing, selling, possession, or consumption of substances such as alcohol or tobacco products, illegal controlled substances, possession of drug paraphernalia, or prescription drugs prescribed for someone else are prohibited. Policy 2 is talking about our personal conduct level. And these are when I talk about expectations, this is really what I'm thinking about, is you're expected to act a certain way. You can't disrespect your coaches, the teachers, you can't go down the hallway swearing, obviously no bullying, plagiarism, cheating, any disrespect, okay? You're representing not only the high school, but the community, your families, okay? Not only in Monroe, but when you leave for other contests or events outside of Monroe, you're representing us, and you need to be a certain way. Otherwise, we don't want that representing badly on our community and our school. Participation rules, I would say school day attendance, gotta be in school. You be in school, you can do your homework, you can do your work, you can get good grades. You get good grades, you can stay eligible. It's funny how all that stuff works, but we expect you to be in school every day. If you're more than 15 minutes late for any class, you won't be able to practice or participate that day in any club, meeting, or practice or contest. You are allowed one excuse every trimester, but I'd state be careful with using those, okay? You might want to use those for your car didn't start, or your door was frozen shut in the winter. So don't plan on using those like you may want to. So obviously 5 parties do equal an unexcused absence. Transportation, the school district spends a lot of money to make sure you guys have safe travel to and from events and contests and meetings and everything else that we send you guys to. Not only are you guys going across the state, some groups go across the country. So we do a good job making sure we schedule safe transportation for everybody. And it's not just to an event, but also from an event. There's also situations where I understand, yeah, something might come up and you want to go home with your parents after a Friday basketball game or something, and that's fine. But we do have a policy in place and outlined in the handbook, and I encourage you to please follow that so we can all be on the same page. So reporting and enforcement of policies. So any information or evidence considered to be relevant, valid, or accurate by any person reviewing a particular alleged violation will be considered. So I'm not a private investigator. I don't drive around town looking for kids making mistakes, okay? I'm here to make sure you guys have awesome opportunities outside of the classroom. This handbook is the worst part of my job, I'll tell you that. I don't want to enforce it. It's something that needs to be in place though, so we all have equal opportunity to have those opportunities. So if you have any questions on any of the stuff that happens with the handbook, please let me know. But if you know something that's going on or happening or did happen, please inform me, okay? Not because I want to punish somebody, but because I want to make sure people are safe, okay? So students, once again, you're going to be put in front of all these different decisions and opportunities and challenges throughout high school. And are you going to make the right choice every single time? Probably not, but you're going to learn from your mistakes. But I expect you to be honest with me. And if you think you violated the code of conduct in the handbook, come to me. Because if I find out by somebody else, it just looks bad. You know what you did, and you know if you violated it. So I expect you to be open to me as well. And parents, if you see something happening or know something happening, again, call law enforcement, okay? If you know of a party, you know something illegal happening, call law enforcement, because they're the ones that are going to make sure everyone's safe, okay? I'm not the one that's going to go rush to a party and break it up and hand out suspensions. That's not what I want to do. I want to make sure everyone in this room stays safe, okay? So moving on, so random suspicious drug testing is in its 2nd year. So drug abuse is a serious growing problem in the United States. It's not just a Monroe thing. We're definitely not immune to it. And notice I said Monroe, okay? It's not, we think the Monroe High School has a problem. Every community, in every state, this is everywhere. We're doing something about it. The Board of Education believes in creating an environment that is safe, okay? Free from illegal substance abuse and that's conducive to learning, okay? The goal is to deter drug use as well as aid in discovery and prevention of possible drug-related problems. So students participating in co- and extracurricular activities are held to a higher standard. So everyone in this room will already be held to a higher standard because we expect you to have passing grades, which we do the grade check report. We expect you to come to school, which we do the attendance reports. And you're already expected to be drug-free, but we didn't have a way to measure that. So this is just our way to make sure that we're staying drug-free with this policy. So what's the purpose of the district's random drug testing policy? It's obviously in an effort to deter students from using illegal drugs and identify students who are using in order to provide opportunity for remediation and treatment. And which students does it affect? Anybody who's going to do anything outside of the classroom. Any club, any organization, any sport. Those students will be the ones that will be in this drug testing pool. So if a student tests positive for drugs, will it affect your academic standing? The answer is no. No record of this will be on their permanent record. Nothing will be on their transcripts. Nothing will ever be reported to law enforcement. How often will testing occur? So testing will occur all school year. It'll be done at random dates, random times, random days of the month, always random, always different. Some months we might do 10, some months we might do 20, some months we might do 5. You never know what we're going to do. And how will students be selected? So once we get everyone signed up, there'll be a numbered list. Everyone will be assigned to a number. So let's say we have 500 kids that are signed up for our activities. I will inform our healthcare provider what that number is. I'll tell them how many students we're going to test that month. Say the number is 20. She's going to show up to my office the day before or the day of testing with 20 random numbers that he got from a random number generator. We're going to call the district office, the person that's in charge of our master list, and we're going to ask them what name goes with that number. And then we'll start testing. So completely random. But with that, do know that your son or daughter may be tested more than once a school year. So moving on, so some of you stood in line to take care of some of your paperwork and fees. So this just breaks down the different categories. So obviously you can see there's some different stuff that needs to be done for the different categories, with obviously category A having a little bit more paperwork to do.